All right. And if there's anything urgent, like for example, you can't hear me, then feel free, of course, to unmute and let me know. But my name is Emma Schmidtke. I am the education and research librarian here at Western. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how the library and a graduate creative writing program can interact with each other. This presentation is going to be focused largely on accessing the library, even if you aren't on the Western campus, since this is a largely online program. Yeah. So, quick agenda. So I'm going to do a brief interview of what research and creative writing can look like when working together. I'm going to cover some grad student FAQs. So these are the questions that we as the library get most often from grad students. And then I will dedicate plenty of time to a Q&A from you. So first of all, research and creativity. So one of the ways that research can interact with an MFA program is that research can serve as a springboard for creativity. So a really interesting fact can be an inspiration for your creative nonfiction. You may be writing a work of fiction that requires a lot of knowledge of historical details, or say a job that you don't currently work, but you would like to write a character who works. And this is just some examples from an article I found written by another librarian who assisted an MFA novel workshop. And this were just some examples that he gave of the questions his graduate students were asking. So say a selection of the questions is, what did a street cleaner's cart look like in 1903 Chicago? Which forms of contraception might have been available in 4th century Gaul? How much did a sandwich cost in Juneau in 1973? Who was still alive who knew Jimmy Hoffa? What does it feel like to suffer from the plague? So I like this selection of questions because it shows that research for creative writing can cover a variety of disciplines. So, history, medicine, the natural sciences, which is where the library can come in and help. Can help show you what that research looks like in that particular discipline, and maybe find some sources you aren't as familiar with. So, moving on to sort of our grad student FAQs. One is, since a lot of our grad programs are primarily off campus, one is, how do I access the library's licensed databases from my own computer in my house? So my number one tip is always use proxy links. And proxy links are the links provided on the library website. To give you an example, I am going to pull over. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. All right. Can you see the library website? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, awesome. So this is the library website. It's just library.western.edu. And if you are looking for a specific database, so you know the database you're looking for, you're going to go to database A to Z and say you're looking for JSTOR. JSTOR is a really popular general database for the humanities. So particularly if you are looking at a historical subject, a subject related to art history, or any of the social sciences. That's a great place to start. And I found that just by searching the database name itself under the database A to Z tab. However, if you don't know what database you want to be looking in, there are a couple of places to start. So one is under collections on the homepage, going down to database list. And then this is a list to all of our databases. However, you can also divide it by subject. So if you're doing research in a specific discipline, say you are doing research in environmental studies, as part of like a nature writing course. And then these are what we have categorized as the best bets. The database is most appropriate for someone looking for research in that discipline. Your other option is to use Western OneSearch. This is the first search bar that comes up on the library homepage. And it is an aggregated search that searches across all of our databases and all of our disciplines. Let's say I wanted to search. And if you click on the link itself, it will take you to this main interface. And I'm wondering, does someone want to drop in the chat an example of maybe a subject you would want to learn more about? I could show you what a live search looks like. 18th century medicine. That is awesome. So one thing to point out with Western OneSearch is you can go to this advanced search tab. And I like to separate keywords into multiple fields. So these different search boxes. So we're looking at 18th century medicine. I'm gonna go 18th century. One, you'll see it has helpful suggestions for the thesaurus, or from its thesaurus, because there's different ways one might spell or refer to the 18th century. And then if I look up I put medicine in the next one. Again, it has suggestions, but I think that medicine is going to be the best way to search for what I'm looking for specifically. And you'll see this bar or this button that says and. This tells the database that I want articles that contain both those phrases. So I want both 18th century to appear in the articles and medicine. If I did or, it's telling it I would be okay with articles that are either about the 18th century or about medicine. It does not have to be both. And then not means I don't want this word. So if you're getting a lot of irrelevant articles that are on the same subject, I can say I want articles about the 18th century, but not medicine. I don't care about medicine at all. Click search. And then here's where we're going to look at filters. So the first one you'll see is peer reviewed. So if you want only peer reviewed research, but then under all, you can look at information within a specific date range. You can look at specific source types. So if you wanted to narrow it down just by academic journals or just by books. Subject, this is another way you could narrow down your search results. So by looking at this and seeing if there's any specific topic you want to look at, you know, such as like general surgery, or looks like there's also one about smallpox, or I saw religion and medicine as a topic. So that can also be a great way to narrow down your research. Now when I'm looking at the results, if I see a title that is interesting to me and I want to access the full text, I'm going to look for this button. It's either going to say access now or it might say access options, and it'll be a little drop down menu like so. But if it says access now, I can click on it and it will hopefully take me to the full text. Yep, there's the full text. Access options, if I click request access, and it does a quick search of all of our databases to see if we have the full text, and it comes up empty like it does here, that's when I would want to go to request through interlibrary loan, and follow those prompts to the request form. And I'll talk a little bit more about interlibrary loan in a second. So that is Western OneSearch. It's super handy because it searches all of our databases at once. So especially if you're doing research across disciplines, it can be really great. When you're trying to access a database off campus, if you are clicking on the links that are provided on the library website, what I was referring to as the proxy links, it should take you to this screen. If you do not see this screen, that means you're probably looking in the wrong place and you need to go back to the library website. But it should take you to this screen. You are going to enter your username and password. Your username is either going to be the letters STU and your student number, or it's going to be your standard Western username, first name dot last name. IT is working on updating this. So as a result, we have some of our students who are still the STU numbers format. And then newer students are the first name, last name format. So you might have to try both to see which works. And then your password is just your standard Western password. So what you use to log into your email or Canvas. And of course, if you need help, you are welcome to give us a call. And I'll talk a little bit more later in the presentation on how you contact, or how the different ways you can contact the library. So troubleshooting, if you're ever having trouble accessing a database off campus, or really any library resource off campus, the number one problem we run into 9 times out of 10, it's that users are not going through the proxy links on the website. Generally, bookmark linked or links from Google searches do not work. You want to make sure you are going in through those links that we saw in the database A to Z list, or the Western OneSearch link that we saw on the library homepage. If you're still having trouble and you are for sure using the proxy link, you're seeing this screen. You want to verify that you're using the correct login. And to do that, you will need to contact IT services. We at the library cannot see your username and password for privacy reasons. And if it's still not working, that would be a great time to contact the library. And we actually have a live chat feature. So whenever you go onto the library website, you're going to see this little tab that says chat help. And you can enter your name, your email address, and explain the problem that you're having. Otherwise, at the top banner under ask a question, you can submit it through the question form here. And that will go to a live chat with one of our staff members that is staffed anytime the library is open. All right, finding full text articles. So say you have found an article that's interesting to you, and you're looking for the full text. Maybe you have a full citation, maybe you have a partial citation. The first step is always to search the full title on Western OneSearch. So let's just grab one of these titles as an example. So say this is the article I want to find the full text for. I just copy and paste the full title into Western OneSearch, click search. And yeah, if under access options, it's not leading me to anything, that is when I'm going to go over to Google Scholar, which is just scholar.google.com. It searches a wider range of articles. However, Google Scholar might be pulling up more articles than we have access to. So it might bring you to the purchase page for an article, but it doesn't have the full text. But then I just do the same thing. I copy and paste the full title into Google Scholar. And then I see if this will lead me to a link to the full text. And it looks like it does. All right. And then the last resort, if you can't find it, is you're gonna go the full text either in our own databases in Western OneSearch or available for free online on Google Scholar, is on the home page or any library page. You're going to borrow and request, interlibrary loan, and then request form, and you're going to sign up for an account in our interlibrary loan system. We can get you a PDF scan of most articles in 7 to 10 days, and that we can have that PDF scan emailed to you. And as always, if you're having trouble finding the full text of an article, you're welcome to contact the library, let them know what you're looking for, and we'll see if we can find it for you. Zotero. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on it, but I just point it out as a great resource for grad students who are doing big research projects that require you to save a lot of sources and organize them. So it's an easy way to save, organize, annotate, cite, and share sources. It's free to use, easy to sign up, works as a desktop app or a browser plugin, and it's just zotero.org. And I find their documentation on how to set it up and use it to be very straightforward and helpful. So I recommend, if you're interested in a Zotero, getting started with the quick start guide. And just real quick, I'll actually show you my Zotero account. I use the desktop app. And this is my Zotero library. And as you can see, I have different folders on different subjects that I'm studying. This, for example, is my big generative AI folder, where I save all of the articles I run into in my daily life on ChatGPT. And I find it a lot more easier to organize and view than just saving bookmarks. Because when I save an article, it saves all of its publishing information, the URL. It also saves PDFs of journal articles. So that is just a great free resource that is available to you. Books. So our catalog is western.marmot.org. This is the URL, but I'll also show you how to get to it from the library website. So under collections and library catalog, if I type in a title or an author, and just click go, it will show me the catalog listings will have the physical book, and let you know where it is in the stacks, but then it can also tell you different ways of accessing it online, either through Libby/Overdrive, or via ProQuest eBook Central. And that is your access options using that Western login that we talked about earlier with databases. You can also sort by format and specifically say ebooks. So if you're specifically looking for stuff you can access online from wherever you are. And then you're just going to go with this blue button that either says available from or checkout on Overdrive. Yeah. If any of you are familiar with the Libby app, it's a popular app with libraries, and it is where you can download and use ebooks and audiobooks from your personal device, so like a phone or a tablet, as well as in your browser on your computer. So you are going to download the Libby app, and then it's going to ask you to select your library. So your library would be Western Colorado University. And you're going to enter with your barcode. If you do not know your barcode because you don't have a Western ID card, you will want to contact us at the library about that. For physical books, one service we provide to distance students is we will mail you physical books from our collection. So if in our collection, you see a physical book that you want, you can contact us and let us know that you are a distance student, and we will get that book to you. What might be quicker, depending on how far away you're located, is to talk to your local library about their catalog and what their interlibrary loan process is. I know in Gunnison, our public library has a connection, the same interlibrary loan connections as we here at the university have. So pretty much any like academic or research text that anyone needs can be brought to the public library for their patrons to pick up. So I highly recommend going into your local library and talking to them about interlibrary loan, especially if you're looking for maybe a more obscure research text. Lastly, we do book a librarian appointments. Those are one-on-one up to 30-minute appointments with a librarian where we talk about your specific research project or your specific question or topic that you're looking into. We can do a lot of the searching with you. So we could go through Western OneSearch or Google Scholar together, think about what keywords we want to enter into the database, look at how we get you those PDFs. that is available to you via this link, but then also on the library website. I have a million tabs open. Anywhere on the library website, you're going to see this Book a Librarian up in the banner. And that is how you will schedule an appointment. Appointments can be done either in person or over Zoom or Microsoft Teams. If you want to meet virtually, either leave a note in the little comments tab, asking the librarian to set up a virtual meeting with you, or shoot them an email after you schedule the appointment and just say, hey, I would like this meeting to be online. If none of the listed times work for you, I understand that people work different hours, and usually the hours are scheduled during the workday. Just send an email to your liaison librarian, who is Tiffany Wick, and I will give you her contact information right now. So Tiffany Wick, she's the director of the library. She is the library liaison to the graduate program in creative writing, which means she takes primary responsibility for supporting your research as students in that program. This is her email and her contact information. And then I also included the library's general contact information. And I will make sure to send all of these slides as a reply to the email announcement for this session. All right, and now we are going to move on to the Q&A portion. So people are free to unmute. They are free to drop a question in the chat.
I'm really glad to know that we have the PDF option as a service. I live in Louisville, Colorado, and I've been going to my local library, and that was specifically a question I asked them, if from something that I'm reading, could I photocopy a chapter, not the whole book, but just a segment, for perhaps using for a writing workshop later in the future, and then having them make a PDF for me. And I know that some places charge you, and and they were kind of, I think they hadn't had that question before. So I'm glad that you guys can work with us a little bit in doing something like that.
Yeah, so we can certainly get you the PDFs of articles if one of our partner libraries has it. And then you can download the PDFs from our databases directly. If they have it, if you see the option for PDF or PDF full text. One other thing I'll point out in terms of downloading chapters of books. So if we are looking at the library catalog and say we are looking at, actually we can look up the book I used for this presentation, which is a very good book and I recommend it. Researching Creative Writing is its title. I'm just going to search that in the catalog. I see on the listing this Access Online option. I'm going to click on that. And then I can I can read the full book online. But I can also download individual chapters. So this book in particular is a great resource that I recommend for creative writers who are also doing research. Any other questions? Any other subjects you want me to look up in Western OneSearch? That was a great reference question on the 18th century medicine. So
Emma, this has been exceptional. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to share this with all of our students in the GPCW and let them know that these resources are available, and just the warm invitation to help us and to walk us through this has been substantial. Thank you so much.
yeah. And we always want to tell students that the library is a physical place, but it's also a digital space. And that digital space is available to you no matter where you are. And that includes, both accessing our online resources like the books and the articles, but then also accessing help. So via, emailing your liaison or going to our library help chat.
Fantastic. And I love how Tiffany's been so helpful too with being able to grant us access to things like the Chronicle of Higher Education and just different descriptions that the university has as well that students and faculty can both use.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend browsing our database list. Because that's where we have things like the Chronicle of Higher Education. Yeah. One last thing that I want to point out is we are conducting a library user experience survey right now as part of our strategic planning process. You'll find the link right here at the top of our banner. And that will take you to a survey about your library use, whether you are a student, a faculty member, any of these other categories. And we definitely want to hear from you on how you use the library, how we can improve the library, especially thinking about, how can we improve the library for people who are primarily accessing it digitally. Yeah, so if you have 5 minutes or so to fill out that survey anytime between now and the next month, we would really appreciate that, and it will help us improve the library for all of our users.
That is just awesome. And I'll make sure and send that link out with the recording of this video to remind folks to fill that out as well and help you out with your strategic planning.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions or follow-up or anything they would like to add? Wonderful. Well, I will make sure that I get this out, again, linking it to the message that went out this morning, and make sure all of our students have access, and put it in our GPCW home Canvas page as well. Emma, thank you so much for your time today and for doing such a wonderful presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.